Well, it's 5 after, and I'll get things kicked off while Joe gets his presentation right in order. I want to thank everyone for joining. What a great attendance today. Really excited that everyone was able to join us for our November virtual event through SEMpdx. Before I get to introducing Joe, wanted to do a couple of house cleaning items. Again, thank you for everyone for attending today. We have a series of virtual events that are planned throughout December and January of this year. We have a virtual event coming up on December 8th on Webmaster Tools. I invite everyone on the call today to go and register now before you're inundated with Facebook ads and emails. We can get as many people out of the way there. We'd be grateful for you to join us in our subsequent virtual events. You know, as we're trying to figure out all these new virtual ways of addressing our membership, we also want to talk about ways of joining SEMpdx. The board and I have committed to making sure that anyone who wants access to SEMpdx can join and do so for free. From now till August of 2021, we're providing SEMpdx member as a free benefit to anyone and everyone in our community. Simply go to SEMpdx.org/memberships and you can sign up there. That will get you into some of our discounts that we have with our local partners, events with our partner organizations such as AMA-PDX. And then we also will have some exciting announcements coming soon about our next charity of choice, as well as a few ways that you can contribute, organize, and then of course, join our Slack. SEMpdx Slack is active with members throughout the digital marketing community, not just in Portland, but from across the US. Oftentimes conversations around organic, looking for the next product, or simply a place to get a decent takeout lunch. With that all said, I'm excited to announce Joe Martinez. He's joining us today. He's the Director of Client Strategy at Clicks Marketing. Today, Joe will be taking us through his YouTube ad strategies that drive action. I invite everyone, as you have questions, to put them into the chat. We'll be reviewing them as best we can. We'll find ways of jumping in to have Joe answer those as he may, but we'll most likely be saving those to the end. Just go into the chat, save them. If they're not immediately answered, we'll be getting to them towards the end of the call. But without any further ado, Joe Martinez, I'll let you take it away.
All right, thank you. Does everything look good? Typical Zoom question I have to ask. Full screen? You're seeing the right screen?
The best Zoom question to ask, and you were looking perfect, sir.
All right, good. I mean, I got three screens in front of me right now, so I got to make sure I shared the right one, and otherwise it's going to be a pretty horrible presentation. So sorry I can't be there in person. You know, life and stuff. The only friend from grade school who I still talk to lives in Portland, and I was asked like 5 days to the year ago. Like I was asked to do this, and I made a thing with my friend, like we're gonna make a whole weekend out of it. It's gonna be fun. And then 2020. But hopefully everything goes well. This presentation goes well. I can come out there again and be more than happy to do that because I haven't been to Portland in so long. But all right,
we look forward to it. We look forward to it, Joe. Yeah.
Let's get to the YouTube part, right? That's all why we're here. And you know, a lot of things when we think about PPC, we have that mindset, you know, the most common PPC channel is Google Ads. YouTube is owned by Google. So we're used to having that mentality of when you try to recommend YouTube to a client or anything, they have that search mentality when trying to tackle YouTube ads. And that mentality, in my opinion, just flat out, it's not going to work because the user intent for the most part is going to be different. All right, think about, trying to get this one, see if I can go over. There we go. Have you ever said this to yourself to try to get in the user's shoes? You know what? I'm going to buy something on YouTube today. Have you ever said that? If you have, is it a common occurrence? All right. No, probably not. All right. That's not why most people go to YouTube. They go there to be entertained. They go there to probably watch their old TV recaps. I have YouTube TV. I go there to watch TV as well. All right. But people do go to YouTube to do this. All right, research, type in something because it is the second largest search engine after Google. So this is one example of my colleague and I just testing out promoting our videos. If someone wants to look at to do Ways Local, another PPC channel, we have an ad that says, hey, here's all the ad formats. Here's what you could do on Ways Local. A lot of research, and you can be that brand that's there on the search engine to answer that question. Possibly entertain, but also get that awareness out there that you're the problem solver. You can help that user find the answer or the solution of whatever they're looking for. And the easiest way to do that, and what we're looking at right now, that is TrueView discovery. And that has become one of my favorite, probably my new favorite way to do YouTube ads because it is a higher intent. We're so used to the pre-roll, even though we can't call them pre-roll anymore. They're really Instream ads because they can appear before the beginning, middle, and the end of the video. Those are the most common ones that you see, the ones that are more commercial-like. But with TrueView Discovery, we've seen a lot of value with our clients because it's focusing on a different type of user, one who's not necessarily going to get sick of your ad because they were looking for video content related to specific keywords. TrueView Discovery, the ones that we saw in the search results, is the only video ad format in YouTube where you can target just the YouTube search results page. You can't do that with any of the in-stream ads. You can only do it with TrueView Discovery. And this is the only time I test pure keyword targeting, not using keywords to create custom audiences. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually pure keyword targeting to try to get in front of users who were looking for specific topics or keywords directly related to my video content. So that's going to keep them engaged. And here's the big difference. Look how long this video is. I apologize, it's a little short, but you can see in the preview a little bit off to the right, that's a 16-minute video. All right, that's not something that you're going to do with an in-stream ad, right? That's going to annoy you. No one's going to really sit and watch 16 minutes, but that's the difference. Because in this situation, it's a home brewing system. If someone's going to YouTube and say, what's the best home brewing system? What's the best turnkey brewing system? They wanted to see video content about that. And this is where all the advice from LinkedIn and Facebook, they're going to say, no, keep your ads to like 15 seconds to a minute. That's LinkedIn and Facebook. People go to those channels to do other things. They get distracted. You see a video ad on Facebook and then, oh, what is my grandma doing? What game can I play on here? That's Facebook. People go to YouTube to purely watch videos, and we can take advantage of that. So with Discovery, if they want to see video content, I'm okay showing them a 16-minute video. And from there, we can test out a thumbnail. We see specific, and this is a desktop example of what I'm showing you. You see the description and a title. Now look at that ad preview. As I switch to mobile, did anyone notice what was missing? All right, the descriptions. The descriptions left on mobile. And there's another placement that you could have as well, which is related videos. So if someone's watching a video, you could be the top suggested video off to the side. Descriptions are gone from TrueView or for TrueView Discovery as well. So the main thing that we look at testing and engaging the user is going to be your headline and as well as the thumbnail image. Those are the most important parts with a TrueView Discovery ad. So in this one, we tested out a different image. We tested out a different headline. Error-free brewing system, right? Things that we had one that was more keyword focused, turnkey, potentially switch it around and look at error-free one. And these are all just hypothetical examples because my mentality is if someone's looking at to buy their first home brewing system, they don't want to spend $50 to $100 some dollars to like mess things up, right? That's going to discourage them. Saying like, hey, error-free every time. The first time you try it, you're going to have a good batch of beer. And that's the way that we can describe that. Now, the image itself, would I necessarily test that out? Absolutely. The one here doesn't look as appealing, but we won't know until we try it. So that's the way that we can look at optimizing our ads and testing out what can engage the user. Now we want to focus this presentation on action, right? I gave an example of kind of what you can do with it and different things that you could test, but I'm going to show you an actual client scenario that we used for one of our clients. We're going to go step by step with the whole background of it to really understand how we use this to really push user action and the value of TrueView Discovery. So this is an actual clip of the video. I can't show you anything about it, unfortunately, but the video pretty much consisted of an interviewer. So when it's sitting in a chair, she was asking all the questions. Well, she was interviewing a celebrity sitting in the other chair, answering all the questions. Now they were talking about a specific cause. It was a nonprofit organization. It was a charity cause, organization that was really beneficial to a lot of people. The whole point of the video, it's a separate series. It lived on a separate subdomain on this website. So they really weren't pushing any products at all. No mention of the products. This was purely to talk about this specific cause. But the products were still there. They were still visible on the screen at all times to really build some good brand awareness. And that was pretty much the whole point of the video. I'm serious. The entire video was two people sitting in chairs, and all they did was talk for 30 damn minutes. That's the entire video. And we ran that as an ad, and we spent a good amount of money on it. Now, in my opinion, that's a boring ass video. But good thing I don't go off of my assumptions, because my assumptions would have been wrong in saying like, this isn't going to work at all. Why? Because I'm not their target audience. All right, we had ways that we can get in front of that user to they can actually go and take action. So how did we do that? All right, first we targeted keywords related to that celebrity and to the cause. We didn't jam them all together. We separated out so we can really segment the data, but we were trying to find anyone who was searching specifically for this specific cause, anything related to this cause, or that specific celebrity who, if people are fans of her, they would know and they would probably want to watch it. That was the first thing we tried. We also looked at managed placements, found specific YouTube channels and specific YouTube videos related to that specific cause and to that celebrity. Then we looked at custom audiences. And this is going to be based off of a broad match related fact of previous Google search history, again, related to the cause and to that celebrity. And then we used remarketing audiences. If they visited the main brand website or that charity site, then that was just one that we kind of added at the end. And it really was not our best performing one because we were focusing on growth. So you think because of all that, we were being really specific with our targeting, not just blasting it out to potential whoever, basic topics, being really focused and having the content to back it up. We had anywhere between 7 to 10% of people watching that entire 30-minute video, and we were paying cents for it every time. Cents to have someone engage with my brand. You're saying, okay, good. They were watching it. All right. I'm still not really seeing the action part of it. It keeps going. It keeps building because after viewers click on your ad, they are sent directly to that video watch page. You're sending them to your video. You're owning that user's attention. And once they're on that video watch page, there's a few actions that users can do. Right. The first one is they can like your videos. They can also dislike them if you're not targeting the right user. But for the most part, if you're targeting solid, you're going to get decent interaction. They can share your videos. They can do this in a variety of ways. There's going to be a link where they can possibly embed it to their own website if you allow that in your video settings. They can also share that through a variety of different social platforms, and it's going to have a way to do that directly within this video watch page. Might not be able to see it. It's cut down below, but users can comment and you as a brand can be there interacting with the users, building more brand affinity. They can subscribe, a very valuable action, of course. I might have skipped one. Well, they can. They can also save it to a playlist. I do believe I skipped one that's right above the subscribe button. Sorry, I missed those slides there, but that's another way to eventually rack up more free organic views later on. Now, when you're looking at setting up any video within YouTube and you want to try to build more user interaction, make sure that you have end screens. Everyone thinks these are for organic results, but if you're paying for users to go to your video watch page and watch a specific video, try to stretch those clicks that you're paying for even longer. This is a fancy one. Anyone that you just create directly within the interface isn't going to look that good, but you can add more ways for users to subscribe, encourage them to watch more video, keep that user engaged and just interacting with you. That is user action that is very important. Why? Because all those actions that I mentioned are called earned actions. All right. You are only going to pay for a TrueView discovery campaign when the user clicks on that ad. Anything that they do afterwards on that video, they like videos, they watch other videos, subscribe, share, add it to a playlist, all those additional actions after that first click are free, no matter how many other ones that they do. So we can take all those actions. If you go into Audience Manager, there are YouTube actions or YouTube user audiences that we can create from these earned actions, as well as other additional YouTube interactions with specific organic videos or specific ads or your channel as a whole. So we can see right here, we can create audience from anyone who subscribed to my channel, who just visited my channel page, who liked any video, who added any video from playlist. We see all these actions that we're encouraging with TrueView discovery. And then we can use these audiences for now to really focus on that next step marketing tactic. All right, we're using TrueView discovery to say, hey, we can answer your question. We have a product that you're potentially interested in. We're just asking them for simple engage with my brand, watch my video. And if you like it, and we can tell that you like it, we can get back to them in front of with a variety of ways. We used to be able to use YouTube user audiences for regular display campaigns. We can't anymore. They took that away about a year ago. It's unfortunate, but we still can do remarketing with RLSA, your search campaigns. Sometimes we've tested out different headlines. If we know that they watched any video at all, or you can segment, I know they watched this specific video and they watched this specific video as an ad. I can change my ad copy if my audience is big enough to say, hey, you've seen this video. now buy the product. Something along those lines to really make the psychological connection of, I know what you did. I know what you're looking for. You know this product works because you've seen the video. Now go on to the next step of whatever that funnel may be. We can also do other remarketing with video. If you want to create some sort of ad sequencing, you've seen video A, cool. Now you're going to see video B, video C, and we can do that through the channel next, depending on how long that cycle is, or potentially do some next step marketing tactics from there. And then Gmail. Gmail is technically part of the display network, but it's its own beast. All right. So yes, we can use it to sell other products with Gmail ads. And this is something that we've actually really tested out because yes, this looks like an e-commerce example, but this isn't anything that's a product feed. These are just called catalog images. So even if you're in the B2B or lead gen space, you can set up each image and the URL to whatever you want it to be. You can also add video to Gmail ads to keep that user engaged. And we can use that knowing exactly what they watched first. Hit them up with those specific products that they watched in your video. Update it if they watch specific videos on services that you offer, then you can update your catalog images and URLs to really call out those specific services and guide that user on to eventual conversion. And that is where we really see the benefit of TrueView discovery and capitalizing on user intent. Now, if you want to go for the Instream one, all right, this is going to be the most popular form of YouTube advertising that obviously if you're most familiar with, if you've even gone to YouTube and seen any video. But just for the sake of it, we're going to go in. I wanted to watch a specific music video. And of course, I get an ad. If it wasn't going to be Grammarly, it was going to be Wix or Monday, right? We've seen those ads over and over again. But there's an ad right there. A user can skip it. And we see up above the up next section, there is more information about that client. We're going to get to that, what that is exactly soon. And then they can go to the website and still visit and interact with the brand. So I can do it one more time really quick. There's an ad. I wanted to watch a specific music video. And then after about 5 seconds, I could skip it. I'm going to watch my music video, listen to the song, but I could still interact with the brand. That is TrueView. Instream, as I said, we really don't call them pre-roll anymore because they can all also now appear in the middle and at the end of a specific video, depending on how long that video content is. So TrueView ads are really good to build awareness because the advertiser is, for the most part, only going to get charged if the user watches at least 30 seconds of the video, or if your video is underneath 30 seconds, that they watch the entire thing. Yes, there are unskippable ad formats. There is 15-second unskippable ones. There are the 6-second bumper ads that are unskippable. But if you're really just dipping your toes into YouTube ads for the first time, this is most likely where you're going to start because you can build a lot of brand awareness and not necessarily pay for it all the time. So it's going to be very cost effective. We're going to show you some tactics of what I mean, how it can really save you some money compared to some other channels and what we can do. All right, so if the user can skip after 5 seconds, it's very important to get that message in the first 5 seconds. Hook them in, because even if they don't want to skip the ad, there's other elements that the user can interact with, which I'm about to get into, where it's important to at least have them wanting to pay attention to the brand, even if they skip the ad. So it's always going to be important to have that there as well as your brand. Have it visible all the time. So, as much as I make fun of Grammarly for having ads and not necessarily knowing what frequency capping is all the time, they did it right. If we look in this specific example, that G Grammarly logo and download for free, that was part of the video. That's not a feature that YouTube adds. They purposely added this effect, knowing what it was going to look like on YouTube, pointing the arrow to the call to action extension, which we'll get to later on, just to drive attention to there. When I saw this one, I had to take a screen grab of it because these guys know what they're doing. They're really trying to push that action and drive attention to where that user's supposed to go. Now, we'll get to a lot of these action driving elements, but I want to talk about what I consider the bread and butter part about TrueView for action. And that is going to be the custom audiences. Now, I used to really talk about just custom intent audiences, but recently, and it's still kind of in a slow rollout, there used to be custom intent audiences and custom affinity audiences. Custom intent was more like your custom in-market audiences, people more in the buy now research mode, versus custom affinity, which is people have shown some sort of interest in the past. Well, Google being Google, a little bit lack of control. We can't segment those out anymore. They combine those two audiences together. But when they did that, there has been some benefit to us. Just like when I talked about something we could do with the Gmail ads before, any type of custom audience that you create on Google that's only going to run on Google properties, which is going to be for the most part a lot of your YouTube ads, they're going to be based on previous searches that users have performed on google.com. So that is pretty much like almost your search history type of retargeting that we can create. Now, some things that we've always seen from here is that it's not exact like you think of just google.com. It is broad match related search query matching. So yes, it's going to be a wider reach, but for the most part, you're probably going to be using this for top of funnel awareness if you're using custom audiences. But that specific type of search history targeting offers that intent where we can get in front of users and have them take the action that will convert depending on the different variety of audiences that you want to target. And I want to share my favorite ones that I recommend using for any sort of TrueView Instream custom audience targeting. The first one's going to be your converting search queries. If you have a list from your search history, whether or your Google Ads search query history or your Microsoft Ads history, finding all the search terms that have converted in the past, you probably want to get in front of more people who are going to want to search for that and convert, right? Well, let's get in front of them with YouTube because it is going to be kind of directly tied to that user's search history. So that's going to be one audience that I would want to create and test with my YouTube ads, build awareness in front of the audience who is more likely to convert. Now I'm going to create a second audience from converting keywords. And yes, now we know that these are two different audiences. We've seen match types in Google Ads be degraded a couple times, definitely within Microsoft as well. So if we want to look at what the user is targeting versus, or what the user is searching versus what keywords we're actually targeting, looking at search query reports lately with what we could see, we know those are now two different things a lot of times. So I want to create two different custom audiences to potentially test and see which one works better. Doing my best as possible to negate my keywords from my search terms audiences just to try to avoid any overlap. This one is also one of my favorites, is competitor terms. Or if you think competitor targeting is way too expensive on search, depending on the industry, you don't want to pay $20, to $100 a click on your competitors because you have low quality scores. Potentially LinkedIn member groups or anything like that related to your competitors are also way too expensive. Why not target them on YouTube for cents a piece? Or if the user skips it, you're getting that brand awareness out there and then you're not even paying for that. If someone is looking for your competitors, where can I buy competitor product X, competitor product Y on Google, and you have a similar product and you're better, you can get in front of that user who searched for those competitor terms on Google with a YouTube ad. And then make sure you have the creative to back it up that showcases why you're better than that competitor. What value message can you prove that shows that you are the better product, or you're the better company, you're the better brand that could steal that customer share away. So this has always been one of my favorites. I have keywords as an example right here, but when you're creating your custom audiences, you can also add in URLs. So look at your competitor URLs. If your competitor has any apps that you think people would use a lot, you can add those app names within a custom audience as well. You can combine them all together. Sorry, I bumped my desk here. So if you want to do keywords, URLs, apps all within one, just to keep it tight, you can do that. This one may not apply to every single account, but look at localized terms. If someone's looking for product near me, or brand near me, store in a specific city, Milwaukee, Portland, wherever, try to see if you can create an account from those if it makes sense. Depending if you are a brick and mortar store or if you have any sort of ways that you can now offer takeout or anything where people would physically go to. So again, I understand the year it's been, but sometimes this one has worked as well, especially if you have, again, the video creative important to back it up, showcasing that they're near them, emphasizing that message. If you're targeting specific people in that city, calling that city out in the video name so they show that it's near them, it's convenient for them, and it could be another cost-effective way to drive more foot traffic to your store. E-commerce, look at your Google Analytics products. Which ones are driving the most sales, which ones are driving the most revenue. If you want to pull in CRM data into this, go for it. All right. If you've seen specific products are selling really well or making you the most money, create audiences off of those to target for YouTube ads. Get in front of more users who are searching for these top selling products, and then encourage them to go to your website. I'm going to show you a few ways to do that, especially from the e-commerce standpoint, and that can really help boost the awareness and also drive revenue. And then this one can work for both. One is site search queries. If you set up site search within Google Analytics, find out what people are looking for. This has been my favorite example of a former client I used to have. It was looking at specifically when people search for certain things. So I am in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It gets cold. So in this particular client, we see terms for ice fishing, ice auger. Your car battery is going to die in wintertime. So we can look, when do people start searching for this stuff? All right. It's not when ice fishing season or winter hits. Sometimes it is from the emergency situation, but people are prepping for the season. People who are used to living in this weather prep for this season. So we can see ahead of time when people start searching for this stuff on this client's website. So then we can take a video related to these most popular products of when people need them, get even ahead of that by a couple weeks or a month and start shooting that video and have different types of video content in front of these users' faces saying, hey, we have all the ice fishing needs you here. Get ahead of the season. Come shop on us now. Switch it up. Add variant number 2. You never know when winter's going to hit in Wisconsin. Get out now and be prepped for it before it hits, trying to build that urgency, saying get the stuff now, but also getting ahead of the competition who also sells this stuff, letting them know we have it first. We have the best supply. Come get it from us before you think about getting it from the competitors. Look at driving traffic with call to action extensions. So this is one that we saw in the Grammarly video. I miss traveling. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. But I still had to use it as an example because as much as I've enjoyed being home and being with the family more, and a year's been too long. So I want to use a travel example because hopefully soon we can come back and do it again. So what we see here is the call to action extension. So I have this video, it's been running for a little bit. I could skip it, but one thing that we see is there's the call to action extension on the video itself. And then there's the call to action extension that's above the up next video. So what we see in between the two, yes, it's exactly the same. It's the same headline of plan your trip. It's the same call to action of search now. They are the same. You can't separate these two out. The call to action extension is part of the video ad itself. So when the user skips it, we see it, it's still going to be up there for the duration that the user is on that video watch page, or depending on how long the video, if a new ad comes and triggers and bumps yours out of the way, yours is going to be removed. So what we've seen with these is you can also test it out since the call to action extension is on the video. And if you have limited video creative, there's going to be a few different ways. Yes, you're targeting that user audience. Your video is going to be shown. It's not like the TrueView discovery where they can decide to click on it. Depending on what audience is, users going to be forced to watch that video. The main ad testing part with TrueView for Instream is going to be this call to action extension. It's an optional feature, but we highly recommend if you want to drive users to your website to use it. Test out different headlines. Test out different calls to actions. Which ones are going to drive more traffic to your website and potentially see more conversions? Or if you're tracking just any assisted actions down the line, which ones drove more qualified users to the web page that eventually converted down the road? For e-commerce, this is TrueView for shopping. Now, if you see the ad itself right there, now you can see where my mouse is going. In the upper right, there's 3 products. Click over one more, and there's 3 more products. We'll let it go through again. There's the ad, and it's running along. There's 3 products up again, and then 3 more. So this is a very specific type of ad subtype campaign that you can create within Google Ads. This is going to be your way that you can own it. It is still a TrueView type of campaign. Now, you may have seen this on YouTube. This is not TrueView for shopping, all right? This is just regular Google Shopping campaign placements on YouTube. So if you ever see anything where there's multiple different brands or anything, that's not TrueView for shopping, right? TrueView shopping is a video ad format. You completely own that video ad space and you completely own those products. And those products will come from a tied merchant feed to your campaign. I love these for my e-commerce clients. Some people don't. Why? Some people don't like them because they're not for lazy people. It sucks to say this, but it might have gotten your hopes up of, hey, showing product next to YouTube videos and people can buy directly off of them. Yes, they can, but they're kind of a pain in the butt to set up. So unlike a regular Google Shopping campaign, in Google Shopping, you can have one campaign, a variety of different ad groups with different types of products. You can't do that with TrueView for shopping. Your product selection is chosen at the campaign level. So if you want to test out a variety of different type of products that you want to show next to those videos, you have to create a bunch of different campaigns. We're like, oh, that's okay. We have Google Ads Editor. That's pretty easy to copy and paste. Well, no, you don't, because for the existence of TrueView for shopping, it has never been allowed to be edited within Google Ads Editor. So it is an extreme manual process, but it has a great way to engage users and have them see an ad format that, since other people are too lazy to do, that other users aren't used to, that they're not used to just clicking skip and ignoring everything else. We've seen a better interaction with the user when we use this type of ad format for e-commerce. Now, this one is right. I applaud Google on this one. You'd think this type of ad format was in a campaign objective of sales, but it's not. It's under product and brand consideration because they're setting the right expectations. Remember, people go to YouTube to watch a video, not necessarily buy. We're there to influence that user. TrueView for shopping is video campaigns first, and then shopping campaigns second. So I already mentioned that products are selected at the campaign level, and then there's 3 ways that we can look at specifically how we can target that user. The first one is going to be all products. Let's say you just have a generic brand video. You just want to, get in front of that user and showcase a variety of stuff that you have. You don't really care which product the user sees because it all makes sense with the video creative. That's fine. Whatever merchant feed that you tie into this specific campaign, you could showcase all products, if it makes sense. We've definitely done this for clients that have, small SKU counts, within the 12 to 20 range. That makes complete sense. And it's going to be a lot easier to do. Now, my favorite way to do it is to actually choose specific products. Which products do I want to showcase next to my YouTube video and drive that traffic to specific product landing pages? Now, we can search for it. Again, since your feed is tied in directly to this campaign, you can search your feed by the title of the product, the URL of that product, or the product ID. Whatever you have set up in Merchant Center, that's what we can search from. Now, how we can search from it is looking specifically, if we're typing something in, you can select up to 10 products. But like we saw in the example when I first talked about this topic, we only saw 3, and then we shifted over and saw 3 more. So we can select up to 10. Only 6 of them are going to show. You don't have to add 6. You can keep it less. So we've had clients that have a product video that really only showcase 2 products. We've only added 2 products, and it's guaranteeing that those 2 products are going to show for those users every single time and get those 2 products all the potential clicks. Now, if you have any sort of product that is really popular, but you always want to try to make sure it shows as much as possible, any out-of-stock product can still be included. You could still add it to the targeting to drive traffic to that product, but it won't show up until you fetch a new feed. It shows that product is in stock, and then the users can go back and click on it if it appears within that ad. So in this video type, we want to make sure that your creative is really dictating what products you're selecting. So in this particular example, this is a video for sheet music for one of the Hamilton songs. It shows one specific song. Learn how to play this specific song. So it's easy enough for us to go and pick a variety of different variations of the notations for that specific song. All right. It makes sense because we're showing product of exactly what the user is watching. It seems pretty straightforward, but it's amazing how times this is missed when people start to use this and just try to show anything from Hamilton. It could work, but let's show users exactly what they're looking at so they can buy it themselves. So what we do to create an ad group from this, again, because our targeting is now going to be set at the ad group level. That's the best way we could test it out. I can't switch the product selection. So I'm going to look at people who visited Hamilton product pages, try to get in front of more users who could be interested in that type of music that they could potentially purchase. Custom audiences, again, based off of that user search history. If they're looking for Hamilton sheet music, whether it's that specific song, anything related, I want to try to get in front of that user because very dedicated fan base. Just like I mentioned before in another example, finding specific video and display placements that are talking about Hamilton or that specific song. Yes, some of these are going to be competitor pages. How cool is that? That if you can find competitor products have videos, they don't check on their ad placements or they're not turning off and they're eligible to show ads. We could still get our products on front of competitors' pages and sometimes driving traffic to our website. Love when that happens because a lot of times they're not paying attention and they don't even realize it. So then the third way that we could add products to a TrueView for shopping campaign is going to be a custom filter. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But let's pretend it might be too early to get into this season, but we all need a little joy in our lives, right? Let's say your client or your account has a generic brand video, all right? It doesn't showcase any specific products, just, hey, happy holidays from us, that type of thing. All right. How can you choose just 10 products. Which ones really make sense? You could show all of them instead. That's fine, but it's still a specific video in terms of the time of year and the holiday cheer and all that stuff. But we can use custom filters if it makes sense for that specific video. So the custom filters, we used to be able to, a couple of years ago, say if the brand equals this and product category equals this, we used to have much more control, but Google being Google, they took that control away. So now all we can do for a custom filter is using those 5 custom labels within your Merchant Center feed. And it seems pretty good, but it also really depends on how that feed is organized. There are some setbacks doing this. You can only select 1 label per campaign. And that's fun because if a lot of products are using the same label, but that label is split between different custom columns, let's say you have the same label in 2 different columns, you're going to have to create 2 different campaigns if you want to try to satisfy all those products within that custom label. I know there's a limitation. It's blanking on me right now. You can only use a custom label like a certain amount of times per column, so that's why it's split. But it's a pain in the butt sometimes, but that's really only going to affect any client that has a lot of different product SKUs. But if we are going to use product labels, fine. Label 0, label 1, those columns, those are generic. All right. Those are the ones that can do okay, specifically some certain sales. Those I get, those make sense, but it really kind of categorizes almost what the product is or what it's for. I love when my clients can change the labels to be like columns 2, 3, 4. All right. Which ones are my consistent best sellers that are going to refresh? So if I'm using a generic video, I can make that video creative last longer without getting stale because I'm testing out different products. Which ones are driving the most money? Which ones have the largest profit margin? Those types of labels, if you can update those creatives and showcase consistently your best-selling products, especially if they change, that's where we can see these ads work the best. But I know I've kind of gone on the e-com, B2B, lead gen. We have something else for you. Collecting leads directly off of YouTube ads. This is in a slow rollout. It's still in beta in many accounts, but they're pretty much lead gen forms that are attached directly to your YouTube ads. So if you see the free demo in the example right below, if you click on it, there's a ways for you to add a variety of different form fields. You don't have to choose. I think you need name and email, I believe are other mandatory fields. There's a variety of other ones that you can add. Even below, I don't have it on the screen. If you scroll down where you see the privacy policy page, there's even qualifying questions on a variety of different industries. I know one of the first ones you're going to see is auto dealership. There's qualifying questions they already have built in. You can add to your form saying, hey, what type of model are you looking for? Are you looking for new or used? If you go down to the business category, it's going to ask you certain questions of what's your company size, anything that if it's really important for you to really make sure you're getting the right user. And even within this targeting setting, you can tell Google if you want quantity or if you want them to optimize towards higher intent. So that's something that we've kind of messed around with, and it really comes down to the client goals. We've actually used these for e-commerce clients as well, just asking for the bare minimum. We just want your email for newsletter or email stuff. So we've built up our e-commerce clients newsletters using this because it's real easy enough for a user. A lot of the stuff is going to be autofilled depending on what they have in their Google account. And keeping in mind what I've said before, people on YouTube to watch videos. They're not there for your white paper. They're not there to get a free demo or anything. Keeping those interactions as simple as possible is going to be the best way to kind of capture those leads. Now you have that user's information. What are your other departments going to do to nurture them? But at the same point, we are using it for other clients, which yes, we're sending them directly to a white paper download page. Just give us your name and email. We'll have our other team fill out the rest, but there you go. You're going to be sent to a confirmation page. Download the white paper. Now we have a very top of funnel goal, real easy. Go back to watching your video. We'll be back to you within a couple days. And this is, I should qualify, this is one of the things that you can add to any YouTube campaign running TrueView for action. So you're focusing on a sales, lead, or website traffic goal. Another thing that you can do if you're doing TrueView for action is going to be site link extensions. You can add whichever ones are going to be already attached to your Google Ads account, and those can show up also alongside your video ad. So you have to add at least 2 site link extensions to drive more traffic to specific landing pages, but you can show up to 6. So it's a ways, again, to send people to specific pages, if it makes sense, depending on what video creative you're using. Now, lead form extensions, which we just talked about, and your video site link extensions, they only appear on mobile devices. It's funny that the lead form extension for video came right when like the message extension kind of went away for Google. So that was also a mobile only one. Now, these particular site links, I wouldn't necessarily use because they're kind of optimized for desktop. So if you're going to use this for your video ads, make sure that you have mobile specific site link extensions for your video ads. Otherwise, they can look kind of crummy and people might not even know what it says, and then they won't want to click on it. Another thing to keep in mind is that if you want to have site link extensions and you want to do the lead gen forms, going to clarify again, mobile only at the time, you're really going to have to pay attention to how your device performance is working in Google Ads, because about a couple of years ago, Google announced the TV screen device category, and we have seen more and more of this become a fast growing, if not the primary device placement we've seen for a lot of our TrueView Instream ads. So if your focus is really specifically on looking at how I can get that user to convert, you're going to want to make sure if you want to use lead gen forms or potentially the site link extensions, that you may need to create separate ad groups or potential campaigns that are focused just on mobile to start collecting those leads. Now, if we're looking at TV devices, I have a few examples that I took from my TV with one of my phone, so the quality is not going to be the greatest. But here's an example of a TrueView Instream ad on YouTube. I watch a lot of YouTube on my TV, so we see the ad timer, we see the video will play or the option to skip. So that was one for Apple. Here's one, I think it was the Geico commercial. So here's the timer. We see the option to skip and play it. What don't we see? We definitely won't see lead gen forms. We definitely won't see site link extensions. You won't see TrueView for shopping on here. You won't see your call to action extensions. So as TV is growing, and the whole point of this is how we can drive more actions to our website or potentially buy or get a lead directly from our YouTube ad, it's really hard for the user to do that on the TV device. So again, extremely important of how we can split that out. All right. So TV, again, I am very a believer in showcasing YouTube ads on TV because odds are the person's going to skip. And if they're going to skip, remember that first 5 seconds, get that brand awareness out there on TV. If you have it in a separate campaign or ad group, fine. Get the free brand awareness from TV devices. You might get a few couple clicks here and there, and then get that, and then use your other campaign settings for desktop, mobile, tablet to really focus on driving the action and get the free brand awareness for the most part from TV. One thing that I also want to really caution that you have to watch out for is a really sneaky group of people that can really steal a lot of your clicks. And those are going to be children. All right. Children are the worst when it comes to YouTube, especially in 2020. We're all guilty of it, probably. Anyone who has kids. All right. Daddy's got to get stuff done. So here's my tablet. Go play Among Us. And then you could be targeting the right user. You could be hitting them, no matter if even it's a customer match list, remarketing, whatever. You could be having them in the right custom audience. If that person who's logged into Google has given their device to their kids and they're going to put them on YouTube, it happens all the time. And then we see placement reports just like this. We see the Peppa Pigs, the Ryan's World, all that fun stuff. So really focus on that and making sure that you're getting in front of the right user. I tried to help as much as possible. I'll admit I haven't updated this list in a little bit, but it's still around 1,500 kids channels that you can automatically exclude from your YouTube campaigns and make sure that you're driving valuable actions to the right users who are going to engage and subscribe to your channels, who are actually going to want to click on those call to action extensions and go to your website. It's got all the big ones on there. It's got the Ryan, the PBS, the Disney, all the ones on there that are going to be extremely common, a lot of big traffic ones. So hopefully it saves you a lot of ad spend, and so you can focus on the right user. So I know we're kind of getting close to the end here. I want to make sure I focus on one more thing, and that's going to be looking at beyond the direct conversions. So yes, we want to see as many as possible. Yes, we do get direct conversions from our extensions, our site links, our call to action extensions. Definitely get a lot of them from TrueView for shopping, especially from remarketing. But one thing I want you to do to see the value beyond that direct click is that they might not be ready to convert right then. So go to all your video campaigns, take those observation audiences, whatever you're creating them, bare minimum, do anyone who's viewed any video from one of your ads from the maximum cookie length for now, the full 540 days, add them as an observation or bid only audience to every single one of your search campaigns. And then when you segment by audiences, you can see, okay, I didn't get any from this ad, but they eventually went back to my brand campaign or that specific product keyword campaign and eventually converted. We typically see higher engagement, higher click-through rates, better conversion rates from our YouTube ad audiences once we see that they eventually came back and searched. Now, big grain of salt with this is only going to show if they interacted with other Google Ads campaigns. We can't see if they went back in Bing or if they went directly to your website unless you have some attribution reporting that you can really look at that. But this is one way to clearly see it, especially from the brand campaign, and see what type of impact it's making. A few more is look at your view through metrics. Are people eventually buying? This is one campaign where we got a couple conversions from YouTube. They spent a crap load of money on video ads. Looks like they got nothing in return, but then people are eventually coming back. We're influencing those decisions, and then they're eventually going back and converting. So look at your view through metrics as well. So just to clarify, the last impression gets the view through conversion. And then impressions itself is not always views. You're going to see a discrepancy most part with what is actually showing up as a view within your YouTube channel. You say, my video's got so many more views than that. Well, technically it may have more views than that, but we're not always going to count it. It's got to meet that 30 seconds or watch the entire view metric to really count as a view. So we can see, importantly, how YouTube can influence your other Google campaigns. All right. So it's more important than what we think. We always got to keep in mind, this is why people go to YouTube, watch stuff like this, okay? But we can still influence their decisions, still drive valuable traffic that will eventually lead to a conversion, if not get that conversion directly from a YouTube ad. I am Joe Martinez. Thank you for watching. I miss traveling to all these places, meeting you in person, but hopefully we can be there soon. My colleague, Michelle Morgan, I think she spoke at Engage a year or so ago, a couple years ago. We have a YouTube channel where we talk about a lot of things related to paid media. I have videos that go deep dive into almost everything that I mentioned on YouTube ads. If you really want to get into any specific topic of YouTube, there's a specific YouTube ads playlist on our channel, so check that out. And if you want to reach me before I lose my voice, I'm in a humid basement office, you guys, so I don't not good for the throat. But that's how you can find me. I'm more than happy to answer whatever questions. If we can't get to them by the end of this one, reach out to me. Twitter's probably going to be the best way to get a hold of me.
Joe, thank you so much. I'll give you a moment to gather your breath, take a drink of water.
That was a lot. I didn't want to cut anything out, so I was like, I'll just talk faster.
No, okay. Truly amazing. A very comprehensive YouTube presentation. Covered off on a lot of things. One of the things as I'm going through the questions here, and something I've talked with many people in my own life about is how to measure those TV impressions when you don't really have that click through. You don't really have that kind of the call to action buttons, the shoppable buttons, as you were calling out. So when you're looking at that TV, what are the ways in which you're looking from a measurement standpoint to how to best kind of quantify that performance past just a general view rate or anything along those lines?
Yeah, we're a lot of times we're focused on the viewable impressions, and a lot of times what we're actually going to do as well is really concentrate. There are columns and metrics. Make sure that you're really focused on the YouTube specific columns that you can add within your Google Ads report. So look to see specifically how long are people watching that video ad on TV. You can look at within the 25, 50, 75, 100%. Are people engaging with that specific video? Other things that we have tested are sometimes we've changed the format. We know people on mobile are probably busy doing things. Sometimes we'll keep the shorter videos for those and actually change the video creative by device if possible. Sorry, not always. But we know specifically that certain content on TV can work better because people have a bigger screen, they can see something, they can engage with it more, will be a little different within our creative there. And then we know, and we do this also too, is that we leave those videos unlisted, just so you're not clogging up your organic YouTube channel with 4 different variations of the same creative. But we know that specific video came from TV devices. And then we create an audience off of those TV device views. And then that's where we can kind of hit them up with that next step marketing campaign to eventually drive more conversions, if we're not just focusing on that initial engagement.
That's great. Another question that goes right along with the TV experience is, YouTube discovery ads and, the discovery ads platform in general within AdWords really tends to show up quite a bit on mobile, a little bit on desktop. Are you still seeing that same kind of performance, that same kind of awareness on those CTV devices, those connected TV devices, and that experience with discovery ads?
Now, I need to clarify. You're talking about the TrueView discovery ads. Right. Okay, not to mention, Google named Google discovery ads. Okay.
I do my best to distill the it is the YouTube discovery ad, the TrueView for discovery ads, and might not be the in market. So we have seen fairly equal performance now with TrueView discovery. I'm pretty much leaving it to just tablet, mobile, and desktop. Just because I think that's where we have seen the best performance. Now, one thing that we also look at specifically between those devices is where we're focused on the maximum engagement and the earn metrics. Those are going to be by far the ones that we're going to look at the most. And that's where the view through rate is going to be a huge important metric. And that's where the headline and thumbnail testing is going to be extremely crucial. I haven't seen anything particular for TrueView discovery. Desktop every time kills it. It's way better. That one has honestly been depending on the client. We have seen where mobile absolutely destroys. And we had one client particularly that was a fitness app. So they were, you could do this workout from your phone, workout from your tablet. It absolutely destroyed desktop. People aren't going to have their desktop down in their workout room. It really depended on what the intent of that campaign was and where is the product best being served. So I honestly don't have anything. You just have to kind of test it out. You can always split campaigns. I think that's been one of the beauty thing of video versus search. Everyone's so worried about moving a keyword into a different ad group and, oh my God, I'm going to lose all the history. I'm going to have to start over. I have never had that issue with video. There's so much ad inventory. I know I'm going to have my video being shown. I can test something out altogether. If I see a certain device performing better, boom, let's knock that out immediately in its own ad group. I'm not really going to lose anything. That's great. Well, Joe, I want to thank you again for joining us, albeit virtually today. We are going to absolutely find a way to get you to Portland, hang out with your buddies, and give us a proper in-person presentation.
And with the organization, not just my buddies.
And with the organization, so we can all have a great time here in Portland. But virtually today, thank you. Thank you to our audience today. You've been absolutely stunning. This has been our best attended virtual events of the year thus far. We really appreciate the work of the SEMpdx board in driving everyone towards this and keeping these things together. Again, as always, thank you for attending. The recording of this event will be sent out to everyone in attendance and everyone that registered. So if you miss anything,
should have shaved that.
Probably by the end of business today. And again, if you're interested in joining our organization as a member, go to sempdx.org/membership. And of course, we also have open board positions. So if you're interested in joining the SEMpdx board as we navigate the future year ahead, please feel free to apply. That's also on the website. Joe, again, thank you for all your time today. Thank you for everyone in attendance, and everyone have a great Tuesday.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.